The Habsburg Empire, a legacy of incest and its consequences. The Habsburg Empire, one of the most powerful and enduring dynasties in European history, is often remembered for its vast territorial holdings, its influence over European politics, and its role in shaping the continent's cultural and religious landscape. However, beneath the grandeur and opulence of this imperial family lies a darker, more sordid tale, a story of incest, genetic decay, and the catastrophic consequences of unchecked power and ambition. This essay delves into the twisted legacy of the Habsburgs, exploring how their obsession with maintaining pure bloodlines through intermarriage led to a dynasty plagued by physical deformities, mental instability, and ultimately, its own downfall. Now, before we move on, please help a small channel grow. Please like and subscribe. If you have any comments, good or bad, leave them below. Back to the story. The Habsburg obsession, bloodlines and power. The Habsburgs rose to prominence in the late Middle Ages, establishing themselves as a dominant force in Europe through strategic marriages, military conquests, and political alliances. By the 16th century, the family controlled vast territories, including Spain, Austria, Hungary, the Netherlands, and parts of Italy. Their motto, "Let others wage war, you, happy Austria, marry," encapsulated their strategy of expanding influence through matrimonial alliances rather than warfare. However, this strategy had a dark side. The Habsburgs became increasingly obsessed with maintaining their pure bloodline, believing that intermarriage among close relatives would preserve their power and prevent outsiders from diluting their royal lineage. This practice, known as consanguineous marriage, was not uncommon among European royalty, but the Habsburgs took it to an extreme. Over generations, the family tree became less of a branching structure and more of a tangled web, with cousins marrying cousins, uncles marrying nieces, and siblings marrying siblings. The genetic consequences, the Habsburg jaw, and beyond. The most infamous consequence of the Habsburgs' inbreeding was the so-called Habsburg jaw, a pronounced mandibular prognathism that became a defining feature of the family's physical appearance. This deformity, characterized by an elongated jaw and protruding lower lip, was not merely a cosmetic issue. It often led to severe health problems, including difficulty eating, speaking, and breathing. The Habsburg jaw was a visible manifestation of the genetic decay that resulted from generations of inbreeding. But the jaw was just the tip of the iceberg. The Habsburgs' genetic pool became increasingly shallow, leading to a host of other physical and mental ailments. Many members of the family suffered from epilepsy, intellectual disabilities, and infertility. The most tragic example of this genetic decline was Charles II of Spain, the last Habsburg ruler of the Spanish Empire. Known as El Hechizado, the Bewitched, Charles was the product of generations of inbreeding, with his parents being uncle and niece. He was born with a host of physical and mental disabilities, including a severely deformed jaw, a tongue so large that he could barely speak, and a host of other health issues that left him unable to walk until he was 8 years old. His reign was marked by political instability and economic decline, and his death in 1700 without an heir plunged Spain into the War of the Spanish Succession, effectively ending the Habsburg line in Spain. The psychological toll, a dynasty in decline. The physical consequences of inbreeding were matched by the psychological toll it took on the Habsburgs. The family's obsession with maintaining their bloodline created a culture of paranoia, suspicion, and isolation. Habsburg rulers often viewed their relatives as both allies and threats, leading to a toxic environment of intrigue, betrayal, and even murder. The family's insularity also made them increasingly out of touch with the realities of their subjects, contributing to their eventual decline. One of the most striking examples of this psychological toll was the reign of Rudolf II, Holy Roman Emperor from 1576 to 1612. Rudolf was known for his eccentric behavior, including his obsession with astrology, alchemy, and the occult. He suffered from severe depression and paranoia, which led him to withdraw from public life and isolate himself in his castle in Prague. His inability to govern effectively contributed to the fragmentation of the Holy Roman Empire and set the stage for the 30 Years' War, one of the most devastating conflicts in European history. The fall of the Habsburgs, a legacy of decay by the 18th and 19th centuries, the Habsburg Empire was a shadow of its former self. The family's genetic decline had left them increasingly unable to produce viable heirs, and their once vast territories were slowly chipped away by rival powers. The Napoleonic Wars and the rise of nationalism further weakened the empire, as subject peoples began to demand independence from Habsburg rule. The final blow came in 1918, with the end of World War I. The Austro-Hungarian Empire, the last incarnation of the Habsburg dynasty, was dissolved, and the family was forced into exile. The once mighty Habsburgs, who had ruled over much of Europe for centuries, were reduced to a footnote in history, their legacy tarnished by the consequences of their own hubris and inbreeding. Conclusion: a cautionary tale. The story of the Habsburg Empire is a cautionary tale of the dangers of unchecked power, ambition, and the belief in one's own superiority. The Habsburgs' obsession with maintaining their bloodline through incestuous marriages led to a dynasty plagued by physical deformities, mental instability, and ultimately, its own downfall. Their legacy serves as a reminder that even the most powerful empires are not immune to the consequences of their actions, and that the pursuit of power at any cost can lead to ruin. In the end, the Habsburg story is not just one of incest and its consequences, but also a reflection of the darker aspects of human nature, our capacity for self-destruction, our obsession with control, and our willingness to sacrifice everything in the pursuit of power. It is a story that continues to resonate today, as we grapple with the ethical implications of genetic manipulation, the dangers of political dynasties, and the consequences of our own actions. The Habsburgs may be gone, but their legacy lives on, a haunting reminder of the price of ambition and the fragility of power. Please like and subscribe.